Chapter 11, Lesson 3, Part 2, Outliers. A data value that is either much greater than or much less than the other values in a data set is called an outlier. An outlier is a data value that is more than 1.5 times the value of the IQR beyond the quartiles. So any number is considered an outlier if it's 1.5 times the IQR greater than quartile 3 or 1.5 times the IQR less than quartile 1. So here are the steps to find outliers. The first thing we would need to do is find the quartiles and then find the IQR of the data set. Then we're going to multiply the IQR by 1.5 because remember that an outlier has to be 1.5 times the IQR beyond the quartiles. So once we multiply the IQR by 1.5, then we want to add this answer to quartile 3. If there's any number greater than that, it's considered an outlier. Then we want to subtract this answer from quartile 1. If there's any data point lower than that number, then that's also considered an outlier. You can have multiple outliers, you can have one outlier, and you can also have no outliers. Example 1, the height of dogs in inches at the dog park are the following numbers. Name any outliers in the data. So let's go ahead and follow the steps. So the first thing we're going to want to do is find the quartiles and the IQR. So first we want to find the median, and 43 is the number that falls directly in the middle. So this is our median, which is also known as quartile 2. So now if I look at the left side of the data, the number that falls in the middle is 40. So 40 is our quartile 1. If I look at the right side of the data, the number that falls in the middle is 50. So 50 is our quartile 3. So that means our IQR, which is quartile 3 minus quartile 1, is 10. 50 minus 40 is 10. So now, step 2, we need to multiply the IQR of the data set by 1.5. So our IQR is 10. Now we want to multiply that by 1.5. That equals 15. Step 3, add the product from step 2 to quartile 3. Any data points higher than that are outliers. So now I'm going to add 15 to my quartile 3, which is 50 for this problem. So 50 plus 15 equals 65. If we look at the data set, there is no number that is above 65. So we don't have any outliers yet. Now, step 4, we want to subtract the product from step 2, which is 15, from quartile 1. So we want to subtract 15 from quartile 1. So we have 40 minus 15, which equals 25. Any data point lower than that are outliers. So let's look at the data set. Are there any numbers lower than 25? Yes, we have the number 10. So because 10 is less than 25, 10 is our outlier. So for this problem, we only have one outlier. Try this one yourself to check for understanding, then check your answer with the next portion of the video. A quick note, if you notice on the left side of the data, we have two numbers that are 50. Neither of these numbers fall in the middle. So to find quartile 1, we actually need to add a third 50 right in the middle, and that 50 is going to count as our quartile 1. For the right side of the data, we have two numbers as well, but they're not the same two numbers. So we need to find what number falls directly in the middle of these two numbers. And to do that, you're going to find the average of 65 and 86. So because we don't have any numbers that are greater than 113.75 or less than 11.75, for this problem, we have no outliers.